Okay, so this is not a popular subject. Yeah, people don't want to go into those things. And also what that means, Anyway, how to go about this? How many people are familiar with this subject, genre, this map? Okay, so in order to even set up this journey, there are two things we need to know. Perhaps we can do inquiry in a sitting while in a meditation posture. What do you think? Otherwise, really go into the intellectual and listening to my chit chat and try to get more information. That's what you don't need. What you need is integration and honest review of your own life and the motivations. Okay, so just have a nice, comfortable seat and settle your body, speech, and mind. Perhaps by breathing into your body, feeling into energies, which is available right now. Just before we embark on this journey together, so bring lots of loving kindness and acceptance to who you are, and also whatever happening in your life situations, without any judgment, without any projection, guilt. So as I said, in order to set out for a journey, we need two things. First one is the goal. See if you have a certain kind of goal, a clear idea of what the goal actually means for you, where your journey is leading to. Not intellectually, but just honest examination of your own life. What do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do with your spiritual practice? Why you are here to begin with? Actually, I have to really admire you. I'm quite moved by those of you who signed up for this class. You already cracked the, what you call, shell, first shell of the complacency. Within each of you, there's something. There got to be something more to life than just doing things in your ordinary life. Something brought you here, no? What is it? And also if you can clarify a little bit about the aim or goal, or you can say motivation. That's number one. You need to know that, even vaguely, perhaps to improve your life situation or become a better person, or whatever it may be. Each of you ask yourself and clarify it at this point. The second thing you need to know or you need to have is this conviction, firm conviction that it's possible to achieve. In other words, you can achieve that goal, whatever you set. Do you have a conviction? So those two things. So first one is a goal or motivation. And the second is related to the Buddha nature, idea of Buddha nature. So in Gampopa's Lamrim teaching, he put out the first one is cause Buddha nature. He started out with this Buddha nature. So this conviction that it's possible, everything within us that make this journey possible. Okay, so just release the meditation. And I want you to do this one little more conversational or experiential sharing session. So if you would like to jump in about these 2 points, first one is a clear idea of what your goal is without any judgment. What you're aiming at. Of course, we hear about liberation or freedom or the awakening or enlightenment. What does that mean to you? Are you really aiming for liberation from rebirth, samsara, unawakening existence? Or you just seeking for liberation from pain or suffering? day-to-day, those kind of things. No judgment here. If not, just let me say a little bit about, because you might feel a little bit intimidated, this kind of questions all of a sudden. So I use this metaphor. We drink milk, whole milk, and also 2% milk, like a non-fat milk. Both are milk. So let's say the whole milk is a real dharma, whole dharma. Then 2% fat milk is like a dharma light. Both are valid. Both are milk, but 2% fat milk, dharma. For example, this kind of entire map on a Buddhist teaching, we can take it, we can do with this approach using this 2% fat milk approach. Okay, do you know what I'm talking about? Using this to release from the suffering or pain happening in our life or in the world system. That's nothing wrong with that. That's the beginning. Really, from the depth of your heart, are you seeking for liberation from samsara or reoccurring rebirth? Do you really believe in rebirth? Do you act like really believing in karma, karmic cause and effect? Do you live life based on that? So forth. And what does enlightenment mean to you? What the liberation mean to you? All these kind of things. So thing is that this motivation come down to this motivation. And the great thing is that we have this map, which previous masters laid out. 2,600 years ago, Buddha gave a teaching, and his teaching was so vast. It said 84,000 teachings. Then what happened was those great Indian and Tibetan masters summarize it and map it out into the one sequence from beginning to the end, if you use that term. So that is called, there are many names for it, because each school or each divisions make it in a slightly different way arranged, but basically same, that the synthesis of the entire Buddhist teaching. And start with Atisha, but Atisha also based on the Shantidevas. I think Shantideva is the first one he talked about. This human life endowed with freedom and enrichment is very hard to find. So it's very rare and precious. Then based on that, then the Atisha elaborated and created this map, so-called lamp of the path in Tibet. He was an Indian master, but he came to Tibet and he presented this so-called typology or topography. Then based on that, so many different branches, each school created their own categorization, but basically the same. Then one is called Lamrim, Gelpa Lama Tsongkhapa presented. That's the most extensive one, which I just shared with you. I dove in when I was young. It's mind-blowing literature. Anyway, so that one. Then Gampopa also, as I said, start with this motive and the cause is the Buddha nature. Then start precious human rebirth and so forth. Anyways, even before we started talk about or reflect each subject on our life, I just wanted to talk about where our motivations are. Then Lamrim literature presents three kinds of motivations. It builds on the first one, previous one, so to speak. It's not about going to the three different places. Like, okay, I go to the Portland, I go to this way, and I go to this way, not like that. So first motivation is that, let's say when I'm aiming for going to the Vancouver in Canada. First, we have to go to Portland, that's the initial one. Then next one is Seattle. So Seattle have to go through Portland, right? Then finally we go to Vancouver. So that route, journey to Vancouver encompass the 2 other cities journey. So like that, Ramlin presented those 3 motivations. They call the being with 3 capacities: initial capacity, middling capacity, and great capacity. First one is a better rebirth. We are no longer talking about this life, but anyway, that's the first one. The second one is the liberation, complete liberation from the so-called cyclic existence, this automatic, I call the sleepwalking life. Then the third one is complete full awakening. So those 3 motivations. But nothing wrong with your motivation at all. I'm just presenting that one. So what you brought here, we're not judging any like a whole milk approach or motivation or 2% milk motivation. We can start with Dharma Light. So in this class, it sounded like everybody is on the light class, light course. And I'm really excited about exploring this topic of the journey, topography of the path.